Last night was episode 4 of Ahsoka. Now, if you guys watched, I think it was an open mic yesterday, I said this. I said, I think episode 4, this is going to be the fulcrum. This is going to be the point that either this show goes south or it's going to launch off into a better direction. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I have mildly liked the first 3 episodes of Ahsoka, but I've had some pretty major problems with it. Look, I'm sorry. It's not been great. Ahsoka has not been great. There's been some great flashes here and there, but we talked about a lot of the lazy plot hole problems, having characters that are the stupidest, moronic characters in the history of the galaxy. Blah. There's just been a lot of problems with it that have made me sit there and go, is this going to be Mandalorian season 1 or is this going to be the Book of Boba Fett? I've really been on the fence about it, about whether it's going to be this or that. And I kind of had a feeling, I said this year, I think episode 4 is going to kind of be, for good or for ill, a turning point. I really enjoyed yesterday's episode of Ahsoka. I thought they finally, for the first time, took them 4 episodes to do it, halfway through the season, but they finally truly delivered a verifiably solid episode that I quite enjoyed because it improved on almost everything that the series had done so far. The dialogue was much better. Much better. Arm cross Force Master Ahsoka is still doing a lot of arm crossing. Ooh, I don't know if Jonathan, you might have noticed this. Oh, you probably haven't even seen the new episode yet.
Not the new one.
Big edit problem. At the very first part of the show.
Yeah.
She's, first of all, every 5 minutes she's crossing her arms. But she's talking, there's a one shot of her talking, arms not crossed.
Uh-huh.
Then a wide shot of the same conversation with Sabine and her arms are crossed. Then she starts to turn around with her arms crossed. As the camera goes to the one shot facing where she's turning, her arms are down to her side again. They can't even keep track of how often she's crossing her arms.
She does it so fast.
She does it so fast. The Force skill.
I mean, I think I noted the scene you're talking about because I had to grab screen grabs for this topic. So I think I noticed that just grabbing screen grabs. Now,
again, let me start with the dialogue. Big improvement. The opening conversation between Sabine, and by the way, the show was on TV last night. If you love Ahsoka and you're watching Ahsoka, you've watched it already. So we are going to talk some details about the episode, just so you guys know. Okay. So that conversation was a really good, and they didn't drag it on longer than it needed to be about, hey, look, if it comes down to it, we got to choose protecting the galaxy over trying to get Ezra. That's the kind of conversation that should be happening. And they handled it well. They got to the point of it. They moved on, which I thought that was very, very, very well done. But stealing the episode was Ray Stevenson again as Balin. I said this before. I love the fact that he's not just some mustache twirling villain. And they really doubled down on that this episode because not only like some great villains, he thinks he's right. He's not trying to be evil. He thinks he's right. But more than that, he sees Ahsoka as a villain. Like he actually looks at Ahsoka. There's this one point where they've got their sabers crossed and he says, death and destruction is all you know. So he's got a massive hate on for something about the Jedi Order as a whole that clearly made him abandon the Jedi Order, much like Ahsoka did at one point for kind of different reasons. But he sees her as just another corrupted, broken Jedi that's standing in the way of good. And so I just love with the fact that you just don't see the grand design. No, it's like he's got her down. He's like you're just all you're about is death and destruction. It's like seeing an antagonist with that kind of an attitude, it just deepens it. And I love when he says, Sabine, look, I get it. You've been lied to. You give me this thing, I give you my word. You ain't going to be harmed. And sure enough, she hands it over, and the pissed off apprentice shows up, starts to force choke her, and Balin's like, let her go. I promised her she was not going to be harmed, and unlike her former master, I keep my promises. I'm like, this is a fucking great villain. I was loving it. You finally had Hera making a really smart decision, saying, well, okay, they said I can't take the fleet. Fine. I'm just going to gather some people together, go. It was great to see Mr. Kim in there too. So they decide to go check it out. I loved that. The lightsaber fights were fantastic. They were really, really good. I love the fact that Ahsoka lost. She got beat. She straight up, fair and square, got beat. And I'll tell you what, I had the same feeling watching that as when I was watching the last Mission Impossible movie, the one with Henry Cavill in it, when Tom Cruise legitimately got beat in the bathroom fight. It wasn't for him and Henry being able to team up, he straight up lost. And I remember that is so ballsy when your filmmakers or showrunners, as the case may be, are willing, because it doesn't happen often, to have your main protagonist get their ass beat and get their ass handed to them. I'm like, that doesn't make the character seem weak to me. That makes it seem all the more interesting. All the more interesting. Yeah. And you know they're going to have another confrontation. So that was all great. And, I heard some people complaining that Sabine would never just hand over the map. Why not? She's lost everything else. Her family was gone. As far as she knew, Ahsoka was now dead. The only thing she has left in this universe is the hope that she can get Ezra back. That's it. That's her whole galaxy right now. That's all she's got. And she's dead. She can shoot that ball, but as soon as she does, her head's coming off. It's just, and so I think if you really, and I think that is some good character work right there. Putting her in that moral dilemma position and then having her make the non-pure hero decision, but rather the decision of an actual character who actually has context to what's driving her to make the decisions she's going to make. And I thought all of that was wonderfully done. I said at the beginning of the show, I did not want them to go to the World Between Worlds thing. I did not like stuff with the World Between Worlds. And I'm going to be fair with you at the end when she wakes up, very much like Gandalf before becoming Gandalf the White. She wakes up in this World Between Worlds. I'm like, I was afraid they were going to go here. And I don't like that they are. That's fine, whatever. And then Anakin shows up. Terrible CGI face Anakin. I've heard the complaints about it. I agree. The CGI on the face was terrible. But it doesn't matter. The point is, she's looking at a pre-dark side turn, that age, Anakin. And so they made him look like that. Okay, the CGI wasn't great. Big deal. That doesn't change narratively what has happened. Again, I don't like that they're in the World Between Worlds. I think it's a cop-out piece of bullshit, to be honest with you. Still, overall, I thought it was a thrilling episode. The action was beautifully choreographed, much better dialogue this time around, great suspense, some beautiful character dilemmas that our heroes were put in, that they made some really interesting decisions. Having our antagonist lose the fight, I think is fabulous for storytelling. A really good thing. Now, I do want to say one last thing though, Rob, before I throw it over to you. While I thought it was a really good episode, the first really good episode we've had this series, I've seen some people online saying stuff like, the greatest episode of Star Wars ever. No, it's not. No, I get it. We've been served dog shit and now we're getting filet mignon and it feels like it's the greatest thing of all time. Come on. There was like 4 episodes of Andor that were better. There's at least 3 or 4 episodes of Mandalorian that were better, but take nothing away. This was a really solid, very enjoyable episode. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Mint Mobile. Signing your life away to a big wireless provider is kind of like being trapped on a roller coaster from hell. Sure, it looks like fun at first. They probably even threw in a free phone, but now you can't get off. Month after month of insane bills and unexpected thrills, like overages and surprise fees. If that sounds like your current big wireless plan, it's time to get off the ride with Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are just $15 a month. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for just $15 a month. You guys know before
I came to Mint Mobile, I was paying triple what I am paying now on the standard big wireless plan, and I will never go back. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. To get your new unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped right to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea.
And Rob, if I was right and episode 4 is more of the taste of things to come, if this episode really is the taste of what's come over our final 4 episodes, then we could finally be in for a really, really good ride because they hit most every note here. Still kind of perturbed that in all the marketing, it's Thrawn, and all the marketing. And we are now officially halfway through the season and still haven't got hide nor look of Thrawn, but still whatever. Awesome episode. You've also been kind of critical of this series up to this point. What did you think of episode 4?
I think they should change the name of this show. You know, Balin and his group of people. I'm throwing in my towel with them because I understand why. I just find that what they're doing now and where this is going, I'm interested. I mean, I think it's weird that this whole thing is moving. This is like the Filoni-verse, which is a subverse of the Star Wars universe. And
right.
On one hand, with the Force whales that can now travel between galaxies. I mean, this idea that you can travel between a galaxy with a certain hyperdrive engine is a little silly to me because it shows the distance between galaxies is enormous. And basically, to be able to travel with a hyperdrive ring that far is magic. Not that the rest of the Force isn't magic too. But I'll roll with that. I'm now interested in this show because it wasn't so much that the pacing was wrong for me, these characters. I just didn't really like anyone. I liked our villains.
That's been a problem. We've liked the villains more.
I like the villains. I'm like,
heroes.
what are you guys doing? Like, why do you want to? And the fact that, like you said, I'm not going to hurt you. Just give me the thing. I'm not going to hurt you. And then all of these characters, I don't like the fact. I never like shows or movies where I'm just expected to like the hero because the hero's the hero.
Right.
You need to give me a reason to like them. And it depends on whatever it is you're doing. You got to set those people up, and I feel they did not do a good job. And I understand where the characters are coming off of Rebels. I get that. But I don't like Ahsoka on this show. Make me like her more. I mean, like you said,
and I think this episode gave us a little bit more of that, right? Like,
yes,
it made
did.
Some progress in that way.
It did. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead
always has been good.
She's always been good, but is she a little boring? But I really liked her this episode because she was taking decisive action. She's like, I'm going to go do this. Oh, okay, good. You've got your little strike force with you. Go on and do that. So again, I thought this was by far the best episode of the season. I wouldn't call it the best Star Wars by far. I mean, I thought Andor was a much better show. However, this has now piqued my interest. I was ready to not. I think you said last week this was the make or break.
Yeah, I was getting close to tapping out.
And I was listening to you. I was like, I wonder, because when I started watching it, I think, like 6:40 or where I started seeing the first responses on Twitter coming in. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to watch. I was doing something else. And I'm watching this now. And I liked it a lot. And I can't wait for next week. That was a victory, I think.
Yeah, it's a win. It's definitely a win. It's the first decisive one I think they've had in the series. And again, I still don't think this show has been great. But if the rest of it can be, and maybe this is unrealistic, but if the remaining 4 episodes can hum at the tune that episode 4 did, and I'm not talking about has to have a bunch of lightsaber fights.
Right.
No. It was what made it, the action was very good. But what made it really solid was the character work, was the dialogue that was going on, the dilemmas and choices that our heroes had to face. Like, that was that was Andor level stuff.
Yes.
And if they can keep doing this for the next 4 episodes, this is going to be a winner series. This is going to be a really big winner. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see Ahsoka, episode 4. We're now halfway through the season. What did you think of it? Did it still not live up to the hype like the other episodes for you? Were you more like me who thought this is the promise of what this show can be? Whatever you guys think, jump on down into our comment section and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.